Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Milton High School in Milton, Massachusetts, here to bring you coverage of tonight's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the hosting Milton High Wildcats and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. As you can probably see on your screen here, we've got a bit of a fog bowl situation going on here today. The rain from earlier in the week combined with some surprisingly warm weather has presented us with some visibility issues of sorts out here at Milton High. And so at a very wet, very foggy field, these two teams getting ready to get this one underway. The Brookline girls coming into this one, their most recent result 5 days ago, a scoreless tie against the Wellesley Raiders at home. Now here against Milton, Brookline comes in with an 8-3-3 record. They are ranked 8th in the Division I power rankings of the MIAA. Milton, a Division II squad, they've had a rougher time this season. They are ranked 50th in Division II with a 2-11-2 record. So, yeah, on paper, the match looks lopsided, but, you know, we don't play. I've said it a million times. We don't play these games on paper. We play them on the field. And Brookline knows that well. Those of you who follow my streams probably remember the disappointing upset loss Brookline suffered at Walpole earlier this fall. That's the kind of result that can happen if you look past an opponent that might look weaker on paper. Not to mention, this is going to be a very motivated Milton Wildcats team. This is their senior night contest. They are playing to honor their soon-to-be graduates of the class of 2023. Among those seniors, they have their co-captain netminder, number 0, Sarah McGillivray. They have number 4, Kate Karambakis. They have another co-captain, Samantha McGillivray. They have number 11, Kaylin Letty, number 13, Kate Cooper, number 14, Adriana Villar, and that is the senior class of this Milton High varsity girls soccer team. Brookline, of course, slated to have their senior night festivities later this week at home against Newton North. But for now, these two teams getting ready to get underway. We've got 40 minutes on the clock. Once again, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Milton High School in Milton, Massachusetts for today's varsity high school girls soccer contest between Brookline and Milton. If you end up enjoying this live stream, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. And if you've got anything to say, I encourage you to say it in the live chat. We got one comment already from Jillian Kelly, a very simple "Let's go Brookline." Coach Kelly, of course, familiar with the weather difficulties that have plagued us this week. Her freshman girls soccer team for Brookline was slated to play against Milton's freshman team just yesterday, but a thunderstorm canceled that one. And so, and of course, the JV game that was slated for earlier today between these two teams was also canceled today. So freshman was a no-go, JV was a no-go. Now varsity is a go. And the two teams are about ready to go. as they huddle up on their respective sides of the field. From what I'm told, senior night festivities happened earlier tonight. You can see over on my left the Milton High Wildcats in red with white jersey numbers. The Brookline Warriors on my right in white. As we get ready to get this one underway. This will not be the first time that Brookline has played on a water-soaked turf field this season. Again, those of you who follow my streams, you probably remember that Braintree game that, of course, ended in a 3-0 victory for Brookline. In the meanwhile, the Wildcats going to get the opening possession. This is number 12, Victoria Ludim, getting us underway. And here we go. Pass quickly intercepted by Vilena Chernychev. Touch it pass gets through to Sari Frankel. Frankel sending it up the far side, and then offsides is called against Brookline. Milton takes the ball back. Number 4, Kate Karambakis, one of the seniors being honored here tonight for Milton. She takes the free kick, and it deflects right to Brookline's Alex Levy, who passes to the outside to Frankel, who then taps it further outside. It's knocked out of bounds, or is it? It stayed inbounds, but Brookline manages to take it back. Now a scrum on the far side. And it's out of bounds, Milton ball. Quick throw in. And again, it's lost out of bounds. Milton takes it again. Another throw in. Wildcats controlling it. Pass towards the middle, finds a target. Another pass, and this one is cut off by Brookline's Anna Leshley. Passed upfield, long leading kick, and that's going to sail out of bounds. Another quick throw in from Milton. Bounces too far, taken by Brookline. Pass goes over to Levy. Levy sends a long leading kick, and it's too long and not far enough to the outside, as this one's booted away by McGillivray, the netminder for Milton. Madeline Moore now at the ball, sending a leading pass. No offsides call. It's chased down by Gianna Pentland. Pentland boxed out by the Milton back, who kicks it. That's going to go out the back line. That's going to be a corner kick for Brookline. Last line of defense for the Wildcats was number 6, Sadie Ruth. The Warriors now lining up for this corner kick. Sari Frankel getting ready to take the kick. And it comes, headed out and scooped out of the air by Sarah McGillivray. McGillivray punts it, bounces along. Collected by number 10, but then stolen away by Pentland. Pentland passes it back to Cecilia Wager. Wager kicks it upfield. No offsides, but that's going to be too far, and that's going to roll out of bounds on the far side of the field. And the far side of the field is where we're going to have our difficulty with visuals the most. This throw-in deflects a couple different ways. And that kick deflects out of bounds. Milton ball. Throw in is going to go out of bounds, and that's going to give it back to Brookline. Throw in. Taken on the far side by Amra Ukamadou, passed out to Chernychev, now over to Levy, ahead to Pentland, back to Chernychev, or actually that might be Frankel, kicked away by Milton, taken by Wager, pass to the outside, finds her target, working up the far end, That pass doesn't get enough distance, and it's knocked into open field. Milton has it for a second, but then it's taken back by Brookline. Passed back and forth. Now Anna Leshley with the ball, sends it back to Wager. Wager, pass up to Frankel. Frankel kicks it upfield. Madeline Moore's got a bit of a step. Moore's centering pass, finds Ukamadu, shot is in! Amra Ukamadu off a beautiful assist from Maddie Moore. Brookline scores in the 5th minute and takes a 1-0 lead over the Wildcats. Ukamadu's second goal of the season, her first since a goal against Framingham in just the second game of the year. And for Moore, I believe that is her first offensive point of the season. As critical a wingback as she's been, usually her contributions are more in the transition game, but there, a beautiful leading pass to set her up. She got a step on her defender and just sent through a beautiful crosser that landed right at Ukamadu's feet. I don't think Ukamadu has had an easier goal in her life. Great passing by Brookline, and they have the 1-0 lead. Moore throws this one in, deflects off Milton and out of bounds. Moore looking around, now throws it into Frankel. Tapped back to Moore, tries to lift it, deflects like a pinball. Now scrumming for the ball, it's knocked loose, and that's going to be out of bounds off Frankel. Throw in, goes off the head of Moore. Levy taps it back to Leshley, who sends it back to Wager. Wager dribbling with it, pass to the outside. Finds her target, who is hard to identify. Pass up for Ukamadu, knocked out of bounds, and that's going to be Milton ball. Throw in, deflected down, taken by Milton, but then stolen away by Brookline. It's passed back to Wager and then sent back to the netminder, Talia Thompson. Thompson sends it into Leshley. Leshley lifts it, gets it controlled and passed back to Wager. Wager patiently dribbles around. Now a leading kick, and that's offsides. Karambakis again lining up for the free kick. Off ahead. Controlled by Brookline and lost out of bounds. Another throw in. Milton controls it, trying to send a pass through, boxed out by Moore, and Moore boots it away. Gianna Pentland with the ball, too far though, kicked away by number 6, Sadie Ruth. Moore passes it up to Levy. Levy keeps control of it, taps it over to Chernychev. Back to Wager. Wager upfield to Frankel. Frankel sends it up the far side. Dribbling up the far side, pass through, is deflected into the air. Scrumming for it. Recovered by Brookline, passed back to the middle to Levy. Levy sends it across to Leshley. Leshley dribbling in, touch pass, finds her target. That's Chernychev, tries to send it through, and they're going to call offsides. Free kick. Milton controlling it. Number 11 kicks it upfield. Chased down by Wager. Tapped over to the far side, controlled by Brookline. Upfield, pass to the middle. Finds Frankel, pass back, now towards Wager. Wager up to Levy. Levy out to Leshley. Leshley lifts a leading pass. Ukamadu's got a break on the ball. Amaru Ukamadu off to the races. Sends the extra pass. Moore kicks it, save, rebound not there. Scrumming for the ball. And it's covered up by McGillivray. One of those instances where the extra pass kind of backfires a bit. Sarah McGillivray, give her credit, she tracked that crosser well and just positioned herself right in front of just about any angle that Moore could have had on that shot. Now another pass leading for Ukamadu. Again, Ukamadu's got a breakaway. Pass again misses. This one just too far. Ukamadu has had back-to-back breakaway chances. And I understand when you're coming in from the wing, your instinct is to send a centering pass because that gives you more options for shot angles. But a couple of passes just haven't worked. Now Pentland off to the races. Pentland centering it. Too far for Ukamadu. And that's chased down by Brookline. Another centering pass comes in. This one deflecting around. Moore deflects it, shot, saved by McGillivray. Brookline has had a number of huge chances just within the past 5 minutes. But Sarah McGillivray standing tall through that sequence. Leshley passes back to Wager. Wager upfield, finds her target. Dribbling down the far side, fires a shot, scooped up by McGillivray. Punt from McGillivray goes up the middle, right to Chernychev. Chernychev fights through a defender, tries to send a pass through, not enough juice on it, and an offsides is called on Brookline, so Milton will get the free kick. They're waiting for McGillivray to finish tying her shoe. And now Karambakis lining up for the free kick. Upfield it goes. Knocked away by Leshley, but chased down and booted upfield, out of bounds, Brookline ball. Throw in from Moore, finds Ukamadu, but couldn't keep control of it. Too much traffic. Clearing kick taken by Levy, passed over for Frankel. Frankel trying to dribble her way through several defenders. Manages to knock the ball ahead. McGillivray charging out of the net. She takes that ball. McGillivray punts it. Taken by Moore, touched over for Chernychev. Nice spin move to create some space. Chernychev tries to pass through, broken up by the Wildcats. Kick, knocked down by Levy, tapped to the outside where Moore races to get it. Passes it back to Wager. Upfield to Frankel. Frankel trying to send it through. Broken up again by the Wildcats, but intercepted right back by Frankel. Frankel dribbling around. Gets around a defender, now sends a leading pass. No offsides call. Ukamadu, now a late whistle is going to call it offsides. Amra Ukamadu with the lone goal so far today, assisted by Maddie Moore. Karambakis, the free kick. It's taken by Levy. Levy tries to kick it upfield. It's walled off. Deflects to Frankel. Frankel trying to send one through. Too far. Yeah, this is going to be the tough thing about leading passes. The ball is going to be so much faster, not just on a turf field, but on a wet turf field that makes everything slick. Levy, pass across to Frankel, sends it back. Now sent upfield to, I believe, Eleanor Bergstein. Pass to the middle to Levy, upfield, knocked away by Milton, and it's a race to the ball now. But Leshley is going to win that race. And she's going to stay with the ball and kick it upfield. Taken back by the Wildcats. Booted upfield by Ruth. And that's going to one-hop into the arms of Thompson. Quick roll into Frankel. Frankel long pass up to Bergstein. Bergstein dribbling up the far side. Stays with the ball, still in bounds. Bergstein, her kick well wide. Oh no, it was deflected out. Off a back. And so this will be a corner kick for Brookline. Frankel lining up for the corner kick. You can barely see her on that far corner. Booted high in the air. Over everybody, and offside's called anyhow. McGillivray kicks it in. Booted upfield. Downed. A nice touch pass. Number 12 running up the near side. Crosser. Walled off by the Brookline defense. Leshley boots that one in the air. Deflecting back and forth this ball. And it's finally taken by the Wildcats. A long launching kick is going to go out of bounds. That crosser broken up by number 19, Sydney Freeze. And now I believe I've identified everyone, at least on the Brookline side, through this fog. We're entering the 17th minute of this first half. Brookline 1, Milton 0. Amra Ukamadu, the lone goal so far, assisted by Maddie Moore. Thompson kicks it into Wager, up the middle to Levy. Levy's got some space to work, sends a pass up, finds her target. I believe this is Frankel. Frankel dribbling with it, tries to send a leading kick. It's deflected, booted away by Milton. They juggle the clearing kick, but they do get it a little upfield before Levy takes it. Passes over to Frankel. Frankel gives it back to Levy. Levy sends it ahead. Pentland fighting to keep the ball. She does. Lifts a high pass. Moore controls it. Moore weaving through some defenders, but finally Ruth comes in and breaks that one up. And that's going to be out of bounds. Brookline ball. Quick throw in from Moore. Gets to Pentland. Pentland pass to Levy. Levy sends it over to Frankel. Frankel dribbling around, fires a shot, and that's going to scoop into the arms of Sarah McGillivray. McGillivray punts it upfield, deflects, and goes to Wager. Wager pass over to Freeze. Freeze sends it up the line to Bergstein. Bergstein sends it back to Wager. Wager up the middle to Levy, to the outside to Leshley. Leshley lifts one. Ukamadu's timed it well, no offsides. Ukamadu charging in, fires herself and finishes! Amra Ukamadu with her second goal of the night. This one assisted by Anna Leshley. 2-0, the Brookline lead, and we've got a timeout called. So Brookline off to a good start here. In the 18th minute, they have scored twice, both off the foot of Amra Ukamadu. Two goals so far today. And I'm going to check, but I think that is the first multi-goal game by any of the Warriors this season, and it is. There's been a couple of multi-assist games, but Amra Ukamadu now with the first multi-goal game of the season. She's now got 3 goals on the year to go along with 4 assists, which is a team-leading mark. Maddie Moore gets her first assist of the year, and Anna Leshley collects her 4th assist, so she now ties Ukamadu, and in fact, Ukamadu and Leshley have almost the same stat line, as Leshley has 2 goals of her own this year. And that play, I mean, that was literally what I was talking about. Those extra passes, sometimes they don't pay off. Sometimes it's better just to take your shot, and that time Ukamadu did, and just fired a laser to the inside corner. 22:04 on the clock here in the first half, with Brookline holding a 2-goal lead over Milton. So we come out of the timeout. And we'll see if the Wildcats were able to make any adjustments. Pass goes back. Now to the outside to Michelle Russo. Pass back, goes upfield. Kaylin Letty touches it, and then it's kicked upfield, but too far. Anna Leshley takes it, passes it back to Thompson. Thompson to the outside to Freeze. Freeze sending it up to Bergstein. We're starting to get a little more precipitation out here in Milton. Long leading kick. Ukamadu off to the races again. Ukamadu fired the shot that time, and it went wide. No, it was another deflection off a Milton defender this time. This is going to be another corner kick for Brookline. So Frankel heading back to the corner. They've had 2 corner kicks so far today. No goals to show for it. Frankel lifts it. Off ahead, walled off. Deflecting back and forth. And finally Milton forces it out. Goes all the way back to Wager. Wager lifts it to the outside, and it misses Frankel and goes out of bounds. Throw in, taken by Freeze and passed back to Wager. Wager passed to the outside to Leshley. Upfield to Chernychev. Taps it for Levy. Give and go back to Chernychev. Chernychev tries to touch it ahead off the mark and taken back by the Wildcats. Lifting kick too far, and it's going to be scooped up easily by Thompson. Thompson rolls it up the middle to Levy. Levy sends it up the middle to Chernychev, who touches it over to Frankel, who sends it back to Wager. To the outside to Freeze. Back to Wager. Wager across to Leshley. Leshley up to Levy. Further up to Frankel, who sends it up the far side for Bergstein. Bergstein charging in, gaining the edge. Crosser, scooped up by McGillivray. McGillivray punts this one away. Downed by Samantha McGillivray, but her pass taken away by Levy. Frankel sends a leading kick. Moore's got it, no offsides. Moore coming in from the near side. Crosser misses. Ukamadu swooping in his Bergstein. Crosses to the middle. Booted out by Milton. Pass goes back to Wager. Wager sends it up to Levy. Levy kicks it. Lost for a second by the defender, but another one gets it and boots it away. Freeze tracks this one down. Pass up to Frankel, I think. Lifted in the air, bouncing along. Pentland got a foot on it. Deflecting. Pentland couldn't get the pass off. It's deflected further out. Levy touches it over to Leshley. Leshley dribbling upfield. Passes across to Frankel. Frankel dribbling up the middle and decides to pass it back over to Leshley. Leshley sends it to the middle to Levy this time. Levy's pass walled off, and it deflects back to Wager. Wager's pass goes out to Freeze. Freeze up the line to Bergstein. Bergstein trying to get around her defender, can't do it, and a foul is called, I believe, against Bergstein. Brookline takes it back. Chernychev pass to the outside to Bergstein, lifted ahead, deflects a couple different ways, and finally booted out by the Wildcats. Recovered by Frankel. No, it's taken back by Milton. But this kick is taken back by Wager. Pass too far for Levy. Stolen back by the Wildcats. Kicked upfield too far. Leshley chases it down, taps it back for Thompson. Brookline working it up the field again. Bergstein working her way upfield. Trying to get around a defender, but she's walled off once again. Lost out of bounds. It'll be Milton ball. Throw in. Out of bounds, still Milton ball. Another throw in. Milton has control of it. Pass up the line, intercepted by Freeze. Freeze passes to Levy, who sends to the outside to Bergstein. Back to Freeze. Freeze sends it to the middle to Frankel. Frankel taps it for Moore. Or no, Leshley, excuse me. Leshley passes it back to Wager. Wager over to Freeze. Freeze upfield to Levy. Back to Wager. Cross to Leshley. Leshley passes all the way up to Pentland, who taps back for Frankel. Frankel fakes, dribbling around, has some space now, lifts one, headed away by the Wildcats, goes to Levy. Levy sends it back to Freeze. Freeze up the line to Bergstein. Pass finds Ukamadu. Ukamadu walled off, but manages to get a pass back to Levy. Back to Freeze and back to Wager. And across to Leshley. Leshley sends a pass to Chernychev, back to Leshley. Leshley lifts it. Offsides. Free kick from the Wildcats goes off ahead and downed by Leshley. Pass broken up by the Wildcats. Sent upfield by Letty, too far. Wager boxes out and forces the goal kick. And it looks like we've got some subs checking in. And of course the sub checking in is on the far side, so I'm going to have a doozy of a time identifying her. I missed a substitution earlier. Number 3, Sarah Gonzalez, checked into the game. Pass goes upfield to that new player on the far side. Pass to the middle. Levy passes it over to Leshley. Leshley. Pass over to Levy. Levy controls it. Sends it back to Wager. Wager upfield to Frankel. Frankel dribbling around. Leading pass too far. Scooped up by Sarah McGillivray. Punted. Bouncing along. Leshley boots it in the air. Off the head of Gonzalez. Off the head of Letty. Taken by Leshley. Passed upfield. Knocked away. And it's going to roll out of bounds. Brookline ball. Leshley throws it in to Chernychev. Chernychev sends the pass back to Freeze. Upfield, down the far side we go. Dribbling around with it. Pass back to Levy. Levy up to Ukamadou. Ukamadou couldn't work her way through the defender and commits a foul. Excuse me. In her pursuit of that player. Free kick for Milton. Just over 12 minutes left here in the half. I didn't even realize they'd kicked the ball. Throw in gets to Levy. Pass back and forth goes back to Levy. Now sent over to Leshley. Pass to the middle to Levy. Levy upfield to Frankel. Frankel dribbling, sends a pass through. Broken up and offsides called anyhow. Free kick coming for the Wildcats. Karambakis kicks it upfield off the boot of Leshley. Booted back by Karambakis. Chased down. Passed back. Passed up. Taken down the far side. Pass to Ukamadou. Ukamadou walled off and it's booted away. Freeze swoops in and takes it. Turns around and dribbles up the far side. Sends a pass over to Frankel. Back to Freeze. Further back to Wager. Swung over to Leshley now. Leshley up to Chernychev. Chernychev sends it out to the far side. Dribbling up the far side. And that's going to be knocked out of bounds. It's going to be another corner for Brookline. So another corner kick for Brookline here with less than 10 minutes left in the first half. Frankel lifts it. Stopped short. Leshley sends a pass back out to Frankel. Frankel winds up, lifts it higher this time. Off ahead. Oh, walled off by McGillivray. That's going to be another corner kick for Brookline. And even with 2 goals going against her, what a night Sarah McGillivray is having here on senior night for the Milton Wildcats. This score could easily be a lot more lopsided than it is. There's been about 3 or 4 surefire goals that have been walled off by McGillivray thus far. Frankel sends in another corner. Kicked and wide. That one almost booted in by Gonzalez. A mass of substitutions checking in for Milton. McGillivray with the goal kick. Headed down by Leshley. Ukamadou pops it in the air. Deflects and taken by Milton. Long lifting kick from Lundin. Picked up by Thompson. Rolled into Leshley. Leshley boots a long one. Deflects off a defender. Milton has to send a pass back. It goes back to McGillivray, lifted high. Deflects off the head of Chernychev. Then Ruth comes in and boots it upfield. It's taken by Freeze. Sent all the way back to Thompson. Thompson kicks it over to Leshley. Leshley dribbling upfield. Sends it along. And now booted away by McGillivray. Couple of subs checking in now for Brookline. They appear to be replacing Sari Frankel and Gianna Pentland. Just waiting to see numbers here. Can only really see their back jersey numbers. Throw in. Deflects, and it's taken by one. No, not taken by McKenna Hammond, who is one of the subs in. I think the other one is Emma Eisenhower, and I think the sub I missed is Julia Vianello. This one knocked out of bounds, ball. Oh no, they called a foul on Brookline. That's what happened. Free kick is booted by Ruth, but it goes right to Levy, but deflects right over to Lundin. Stolen back by Chernychev. Lifts it, walled off by Karambakis. Popped into the air by Ruth, sent up and taken by Freeze. Freeze, pass to the outside to Wager. Wager kick deflects awkwardly off Freeze and stolen by the Wildcats. They try and send a pass through. It's walled off by Levy and taken by Wager. Pass goes over to Leshley. Leshley, back to Wager. Wager, a long kick, and that's going to go too far and out of bounds. Throw in. Deflects a couple different ways, and Ukamadou almost swooped in and took it, but instead it's taken back by the Wildcats. 5.5 minutes left here in the first half. Still 2-0 in favor of Brookline. Pass goes across to Leshley. The wind starting to pick up a bit here. And every little bit the weather gets worse, I get just a little more nervous about my equipment. But so far I think we're doing okay. Leshley. Pass up to Chernychev, pass back to Levy. Back to Wager. Long boot, bouncing along, race to the ball. Ukamadou going to get there first. Ukamadou charging in, and the shot is walled off again by McGillivray. Ukamadou just ran out of space, didn't have much of an angle. McGillivray punts this one in. Taken by Levy and passed back to Leshley. Sent across the field to Freeze. Freeze sends it upfield. Might be a little too far, but I think that's Vianello speeding after it. Recovers it. Centering pass. Deflected. Eisenhower kicks it free, but then Milton boots it away. Wager corrals it. Pass back to Leshley. Leshley lifts it down the near side, and it's booted out of bounds by Russo. Gonzalez throws it in, deflected out of bounds, stays with Brookline. Another throw in from Gonzalez, headed down by Leshley, gets to Chernychev. Chernychev stays with the ball and sends it across the field to Freeze. Freeze dribbling up, passes up the line for Vianello. Vianello with a crosser, and McGillivray swoops in and grabs it. McGillivray punts it. Deflected, taken for a second by Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to stay with it. It's knocked away by the Wildcats, but goes right to Levy. Her pass deflected. Stolen back by Brookline. Pass goes back. Now sent all the way back to Wager. Wager across to Leshley. Leshley lifts it over to Freeze. Freeze sends it up to Vianello. Back to Freeze. Now over to Levy. Levy dribbling, sends a pass way back, and that's going to be chased down by Wager. Wager dribbling it. Long leading kick. Ukamadou off to the races once again. Ukamadou coming in. Crosser deflected out. Deflected shot. Save again by McGillivray. Almost scored by, I believe, Emma Eisenhower. And this is going to be another corner kick for Brookline. I believe that would have been Eisenhower's first varsity goal if she had netted that one. But instead, Brookline lining up for a corner kick here in stoppage time. Clock frozen at 2 minutes. Kick comes in from Levy, comes in low. Deflected back out. Levy fakes the kick, now lifts the kick towards the box. Deflecting through, chance. That one is in! Anna Leshley capitalizes on that one off the assist from, honestly, I'm going to have to go back and look at the tape because that might have deflected a little bit. But the kick into the box certainly came from Alex Levy, who made a nice fake on the initial kick after her corner kick was deflected out. And so that'll be a 3-0 lead. So now Anna Leshley and Amra Ukamadou with identical season stats so far, 3 goals and 4 assists for each of them. This one goes out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick for Brookline. 3-0, the Brookline lead. 2 goals from Amra Ukamadou, 1 from Anna Leshley. Wager kicks this one up the far side to, I believe, Vianello. Pass back to Freeze. Now to Levy. Levy back to Wager. Across to Leshley, and that is the whistle for halftime. At the break, the score, the Brookline Warriors 3, the Milton Wildcats 0. Goals for Brookline scored by Amra Ukamadou twice and Anna Leshley once, 1 assist each for Maddie Moore, Anna Leshley, and a player I might try to identify later on the tape. Possibly just Alex Levy. But that's our score at half, and at this halftime intermission, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about Language Virtual. Language Virtual is a nonprofit organization made by BHS students in order to help other students all over the world. Language Virtual offers free English language lessons online to students around the globe. These lessons are taught by volunteer high school students, many of them from right in Brookline, and they are recruited by Language Virtual to teach these ELL lessons through the simplest, most tried and true method of learning a language: conversation. To date, Language Virtual has recruited over 100 teachers to teach over 700 students across more than 10 different countries. And with the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, Language Virtual has seen an influx of students of Ukrainian descent, displaced by the war, and hoping these English lessons can help them adjust to their new living situations. Visit languagevirtual.org to find out how you can register, either as a teacher or as a student. You can also donate money to Language Virtual to help them continue teaching students in need and fostering these worldwide connections. Once again, that's languagevirtual.org. And as always, you can find all the information you need about Language Virtual in the description section down below. And of course, as always, if you're enjoying the live stream, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. We got plenty of Brookline High sports coming up. I'm scheduled for freshman boys soccer tomorrow, and then varsity girls soccer again on Thursday for their senior night game, or senior day game, I should say, at home against Newton North. And then on Saturday, I've actually got, I think, 2 or 3 games. I've got boys varsity in the morning against Newton North on Saturday. And then I think I've got girls JV and varsity at Newton South. So be sure to stay tuned for those. Subscribe to the channel can help. And if you got anything to say, I encourage you to say it in the live chat. But for now, it is halftime. 3-0 the Brookline lead. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan from Milton High School in Milton, Massachusetts. I'm going to be taking a break off the mic, but I will be back with the second half. Stay tuned. Hello again, everybody. Back on the mic, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Milton High School in Milton, Massachusetts, on a beautiful question mark night for soccer, where so far, at the midway point, the Brookline High Warriors holding a 3-0 lead over the Milton High Wildcats. 2 goals from Amra Ukamadu and 1 from Anna Leshley have tallied the scoring so far. But even with this fairly one-sided result, I feel like a shout-out does have to be given to Milton's senior co-captain netminder, Sarah McGillivray, because let me tell you, this score could be a lot more lopsided than it is. Brookline could have like 6 or 7 goals at this point, but McGillivray has put up a very valiant effort in net for the Wildcats here on her senior night game. And even though the stats might not show it, you can just eye test it, folks. You know, just see the plays yourself and you'll know what I'm talking about. But now we get ready for the second half. So far, this ties the highest scoring output that Brookline has had so far this season. They've scored 3 goals in 2 other contests so far in this fall season. 3 times before tonight. So this is the 4th time they've amassed 3 goals. A 3-0 victory at Braintree, a 3-1 win at Danvers, and a 3-2 win at Concord Carlisle. So they've all been on the road, strangely enough, as is this one. So strangely enough, offensively, Brookline tends to play a little better away from home. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means anything at all. You know, probably just a coincidence more than anything else. But here we are at 3-0. Two teams huddling, getting ready to come out for the second half. Wildcats coming out of that far corner there. Meanwhile, over by the bench, Brookline Warriors huddling up before the start of the second half. And it looks like we've actually got a substitution in net for Brookline. Minding the net for the first time this season, and I believe the first time in her varsity career, is going to be Phoebe Shea. And the Brookline fans loving that. Shea subbing in for Talia Thompson as Brookline holds a comfortable lead. Brookline getting the opening possession of the second half. Gianna Pentland ready to get us underway. And here we go. Pass goes back to Alex Levy. And across to Sari Frankel, and then back to Cecilia Wager. Back up to Frankel. Back to Wager. Wager to the outside. It's passed back to Anna Leshley. Wind really starting to blow out here as Madeline Moore taking it up the far side. Lost out of bounds. Milton will take this one back. Throw-in is booted right back by Moore. That's going to bounce along and go out of bounds. Throw-in. Knocked out of bounds, Brookline ball. Throw in. Booted high in the air. Over the head of the defender, Bergstein taking it. Eleanor Bergstein sends a pass back a little wide, and I think they called offsides on Brookline. Funnily enough, these two teams played last year for Brookline's senior day game, whereas now they're playing for Milton's senior night this year. And last year, when these two faced off, the weather was even worse, as this one being scrummed for in the middle and won by the Wildcats. Kicked up field and walled off by Sydney Freeze and passed back for Wager, who manages to get a pass outside to Bergstein. That game ended in a 4-0 victory for Brookline last year. Throw in. Among the goal scorers for Brookline in last year's game against Milton were Eleanor Bergstein, Anna Leshley, and Vilena Chernichev, as well as Sydney Freeze's older sister, Kendall Freeze, who was celebrating her senior day for that game. Wager kicks this one across to Phoebe Shea. Shea passes it out to Leshley. Leshley up the far side to Moore. Moore kicks it upfield, deflects. Pentland recovers it. Pentland now lifting a leading kick, no offsides. Ukamadou to the ball once again. Crosser is walled off by Sarah McGillivray. Unless they've also made a change in net, it's hard to tell. This one off the head of Leshley. Downed by Levy. Pass to the outside for Moore and sent back. Now sent upfield to Ukamadou. Pass over to Bergstein. Now to the middle to Frankel. Frankel, pass broken up. And Milton clears it out. Now booted further upfield. And Freeze is going to get there first and pass it back to Shea. Shea boots it upfield. Wildcats take it back, lifted off the head of Leshley. Taken now by Moore. Moore sends it upfield to Pentland, tapped back, and tapped over to Pentland again. Pentland dribbling with it, sends it up the far side. And a crosser coming in from Moore, deflects away from the keeper, downed by Ukamadu. Ukamadu has the hat trick! I'm not sure how much I got of that with the camera. It looks like I kind of flubbed the angle there, but that is goal number 3 on the day for Amra Ukamadu. Take off your hats, folks. That is 3 goals for Amra Ukamadu. And largely through the efforts of this one game, Ukamadu has now matched her goal total from the entire regular season last year. And Brookline now has its highest scoring output of this season and has matched their score from last year's contest against Milton, which was also their highest scoring output last year. Milton with a bit of a chance here, but it's broken up by Wager. So that one, a goal by Ukamadu, and the second assist of the day for Maddie Moore. And now a pass from Levy to Ukamadu. Ukamadu off to the races again. Shot is deflected out of bounds off Kate Karambakis. And this will set up a corner kick for the Warriors. Frankel lining up for the corner kick. Coming in, deflects several which ways, and that one's in! Anna Leshley again! That one deflected several which ways. I think the last Warrior to touch it before Leshley kicked it in was Alex Levy. Anna Leshley with her second goal of the day. Ukamadu and Leshley producing for Brookline here today. Kicked up field. Kept in play. This is Samantha McGillivray. Kick is walled off by Bergstein. Out of bounds, stays with Milton. Quick throw in to the middle. Booted out by Levy. Moore taps it upfield for Vilena Chernychev. Another long leading pass, a race to the ball, and the keeper is going to get there first and boot it away. Moore keeps it in bounds. It's knocked all the way back to Leshley. Leshley sends it upfield. Pass from Chernychev to Frankel. Frankel dribbling, sending it up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu's got a lane once again. Ukamadu charging in, and again, just barely deflected. These past couple of charges, she might have waited just a little too long to fire her shot. As this kick headed down by Bergstein, walled off. Taken by Lundeen. Lost out of bounds, Brookline ball. Freeze throws it in. Lost out of bounds, Brookline ball. Throw in coming from Bergstein. This one deflects several which ways. Pass blocked off by Bergstein, and that's going to go all the way out the back line. And it's going to be a goal kick for Milton. And it is now just full-on raining here in Milton. You know, no, not condensation, not mist. No, it is just straight up raining here. You know, it could still be considered a drizzle as Amra Ukamadu subs off to a round of applause from the Brookline faithful, being replaced by McKenna Hammond. what a day she has had. 3 goals. As this pass is now stolen by Frankel. Now kicked upfield. Bergstein touched it ahead. Pentland trying to race there. Boxed out, however, and that is going to be a goal kick for Milton. Also checking into the game for Brookline for the first time tonight is number 21, Mirabel Kesselman. Booted upfield and out of bounds. Brookline trying to work it up the far side. Running out of room, it's knocked out of bounds, stays Brookline ball. Throw in. Recovered by Brookline, pass goes back. Lifting pass for Bergstein, off her head the wrong way. Bergstein chasing it down, tries to recover it, but it's taken by the Wildcats. Pass upfield, deflects, and goes out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Throw in. Pass back to Freeze, and then back to Wager. Cross to Leshley. Leshley having a stellar day so far. 2 goals and an assist as a center back. I mean, that's crazy. Frankel sends a pass. And Milton forced to kick it out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Throw in. Corralled by Pentland. Pentland turns around, kick, walled off, deflects to Hammond. Hammond's kick deflects. Now a shot saved by the keeper. This one deflecting along, chased down by Leshley. Visibility actually getting worse out here, I think, if that's even possible, as it's lifted over to the near side to Bergstein. Bergstein pass, misses Pentland, but gets to Hammond. Hammond lifts one high. Bergstein's got to chase it to keep it in bounds. She does. Crosser walled off, and that's going to set up a corner for Brookline. Frankel setting up for another corner kick. And she just sends it in low. Pass back to Frankel. Frankel dribbling in. Now the crosser walled off by Milton, and that is going to roll out of bounds. Throw in. Kicked away by Milton, but recovered by Brookline. Oh. Sorry. Trying to control things here and keep all my equipment dry. Pass. Being scrummed for. Oops. And now it's taken by Leshley. Leshley sending along through, pass ahead, offsides called. Pass was intended for McKenna Hammond. Just over 27 minutes on the clock here in the second half. Kick deflects along. Taken back by Brookline. Pass tapped back to, I think, Kesselman. Kesselman pass to the outside. Now pass to the middle to Hammond. Hammond turns around, passes for Frankel. Frankel passes it over to the outside to Kesselman. Back to Frankel. Frankel keeps the ball despite the defensive attempts. Frankel getting some space now, sending a through pass, and offsides again. You know, it's plays like that that really make you appreciate just how talented Amra Ukamadou is, that she was making all of those leading passes look routine with no offsides calls. That's just the speed that she has. Milton pass to the outside. This is Lundeen dribbling with it. Lost and taken back by Frankel. Touch pass for Kesselman. Kesselman pass gets up to Hammond. Hammond's pass deflects over to Kesselman. Back to Wager. Wager, long leading kick. No offsides. Bergstein racing for it, but not going to get there in time. The keeper scoops it up. Quick roll in. Cut off by Pentland and passed back to Frankel. Heads up play by Pentland. Pass now goes back to Wager. Back up to Frankel. Frankel up to Bergstein. And now to Pentland and back to Bergstein. Bergstein dribbling, touch over to Pentland. Pentland dribbling, launches a kick, deflects off a defender. And now Milton boots it out the side, out of bounds. Throw in. Touch back from Frankel to Bergstein. Pass deflected away. Scrum for the ball. And a foul is called on Frankel. Karambakis taking the free kick once again. Bouncing along, and that's just going to be way too far. And that's going to roll out of bounds. And that's going to be a goal kick for Brookline. We got some subs checking in for Milton now. Out to Wager, and then up to Bergstein. Up to Frankel. Frankel lifts it high, down the near side, and that's going to be too far and out of bounds. Milton, quick throw in. And that pass taken away by Pentland. Pentland dribbling further towards the middle, trying to get a spot for a pass. Tries to send it to the outside, it curves the wrong way, and it's taken back by the Wildcats. Kicked upfield. And now further upfield, it's Kesselman. Pass to the outside. To Leshley. Leshley pops one high. Bergstein waiting and taking it. Bergstein dribbling in. Pass to the outside for Frankel. Frankel, the crosser, walled off, bounces back to Frankel. Pass for Bergstein. Bergstein gets a bit of space, sends the crosser in. No room, though, and it's taken by the Milton keeper. This one punted along and out of bounds. We've got subs checking in once again. Brookline bringing in Sarah Gonzalez for Eleanor Bergstein. Throw in. Passed back. trying to see who has it through the fog, having a tough time. Hammond touches it along to Gonzalez. Gonzalez back to Hammond. Hammond couldn't force it through, and it's cleared out by the Wildcats. Leshley takes it back. Leshley's got some space to dribble. Leshley, still Leshley, couldn't force it through the last line of defense, and it's knocked out of bounds. And that's going to set up another corner kick for Brookline. Corner kick sails in, deflects down, chance, recovered by Eisenhower. Emma Eisenhower sends a pass back, chased down by Gonzalez. Gonzalez fires a shot, and it's taken off one hop by the keeper. Punt goes off ahead and knocked out of bounds. Gonzalez throws it in, walled off by Milton. Scrumming for it, it gets knocked over to Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to find space, and nowhere to go. It's taken away by the Wildcats. But that kick has nowhere to go. It's taken back by Frankel. Frankel sends one through, almost, but cut off by Karambakis. Taken back by Hammond, kicked into space, deflecting several which ways. And the attempted clear taken back by Frankel. Frankel, bobbing and weaving, gets the ball to Hammond. Hammond passes it back to Wager. Wager dribbling upfield. Now sends a pass across to Frankel. Pass back to Leshley now. Into open space finds Eisenhower. Eisenhower draws a foul. Just over 19 minutes on the clock here in the second half. Brookline with a very comfy 5-0 lead at this point. Wager lining up for the free kick. Launches a long one, and it's caught out of the air by the keeper. Punted, and it's going to bounce out of bounds on the far side. Throw in, back to Leshley, now back to Wager. Wager across to Freeze. Freeze still dribbling. Now sends a pass to Gonzalez. Gonzalez taps it back to Frankel. Frankel sends a pass for Hammond. No handball. Hammond fires, and it's saved. Just a bit of an awkward angle. And I think Hammond got a little spooked by the way that ball deflected off of her foot when she was receiving it, as it almost bounced off her hand. And so she took her shot just a little off balance. Wager chasing it down. Kicks it over to Freeze. Freeze to Frankel. Frankel passes wide and out of bounds. This one deflects and kicked up field. Wager takes it. Pass knocked out of bounds. Another sub checking in for Brookline. Gianna Pentland checks out, and in comes number 17, Riley Klaus. Throw in, taken by Frankel. Frankel's kick stolen away. And now boxed out by Leshley, but a shot goes in. Milton on the board. That one recovered nicely after it seemed like it was going to be walled off by Anna Leshley. Oops, sorry. My umbrella knocked the tripod while I was trying to update the scoreboard. So the shutout has been prevented. Milton on the board here on their senior night game. And now Milton off to the races again. And Shea swoops in and takes it. Long punt. Taken by Hammond and passed back to Kesselman. Now across to Frankel. Frankel pass out to Leshley. 5-1 now the score. Still in favor of Brookline. As Leshley sends it upfield, it's knocked away and out of bounds. Thrown in, down the far side. Deflected away, it's recovered by Kesselman, passed to the outside, and sent back to Leshley. Sent over to the near side to Freeze. Freeze passes it back to Kesselman. Kesselman lifts it too far. And that misses her target, who I believe is number 7, Nora Shue. And we've got a timeout called with 15 minutes and 5 seconds left here in the second half. 5-1, the Brookline lead. And so Milton, at the very least, does prevent the shutout. Brookline still very comfortably in the lead at this point. 3 goals from Amra Ukamadu, 2 goals and an assist from Anna Leshley. 2 assists from Maddie Moore. Either 1 or 2 assists from Alex Levy. And 1 assist that I am blanking on at this moment. Let's see, 2 from Moore, 1 from Leshley, and 1 or 2 from Levy. Okay, I got it. Because there's 1 that, again, I'm going to have to go back and look at the tape to be exactly sure. But Alex Levy has at least 1 assist. So a really stellar day from both Ukamadu and Leshley, who were really the stars of Brookline's offense last year. Ukamadu had 4 goals and 4 assists, while Leshley had a team-leading 6 goals. And up to this point, those two haven't had nearly as many goals as they had last year. Like I said before, Ukamadu had 1 goal coming into this game, and now she's matched her total from last year. Leshley, you know, she's playing on defense this year. And yet she's now also got 4 goals and 4 assists. So out of the timeout, a throw-in for Milton. Scrumming for the ball. Pass goes back. Kicked upfield. Kicked back by Karen Backus. Kicked back by Brookline. Scrumming for the ball still. Taken by Brookline. Some space to work, and I think Hammond kicked that one upfield. Deflects, taken by Frankel, knocked away from Frankel. Taken back by the Wildcats. Freeze swoops in, gets a pass to Klaus, and Klaus draws another foul. Free kick coming from Wazier from about the 34 or 35 of the football field. Long kick from Wazier, off the goalie's hands and out the back line. That's going to be another corner kick for Brookline. They've already scored 2 of their 5 goals off of corner kick setups so far today. Both of those goals coming from Anna Leshley. And they've got Leshley up in the box once again. Is Leshley going to have a hat trick as well? Kick sailing in, off the head, and wrong way off the head. And whistle is blown against Brookline, and that will be a free kick for Milton. About 13 and a half minutes left on the clock here in the second half. Brookline leads Milton 5-1. Brookline applying pressure in the pass taken by Frankel. Frankel dribbling around and decides to pass it back to Leshley. Leshley kicks it upfield to an open Gonzalez. Gonzalez dribbling around, tries to send a pass to the middle, stolen away by the Wildcats. Kick is deflected, boxed out by Freeze. And we've got a call against Milton now. Free kick for Brookline. Wazier lifts this one high. Deflects, scrum, Milton kicks it away, walled off by Kesselman. Deflected a couple of times, and now Milton takes it back. Sent upfield. Pass misses the target, and it's taken by Leshley. Leshley passes up to Gonzalez. Gonzalez sends it back to Leshley. Leshley dribbling. Stops, passes, misses. Milton takes it back, but then taken right back by Frankel. Pass across to Eisenhower. Eisenhower sends a leading kick for Gonzalez, and they call offsides on Gonzalez. Free kick coming for Milton now. Karambakis boots it off the head of Samantha McGillivray. Boxed out and taken by Wazier. Pass across to Leshley. Leshley turns around, passes it upfield. Frankel dribbling around. Sends a long through pass. No offsides. Gonzalez off to the races, and shot goes wide. The defender was, I think, crashing on her a little faster than she expected. And so she had to take that shot from her left foot from an angle she really didn't want to take that one. As Alex Levy checks back into the game, replacing Sari Frankel. This ball stolen back by Brookline. Battling. And that kick is going to force a corner as it's deflected out off of the Wildcats. Nice efforts by, I believe, Shu. And now this will set up a corner kick taken by Alex Levy. Levy launches it. And it's off the head of a Wildcats defender and out of the box. Race to the ball, and it's knocked towards the Brookline end. Levy chases it down and passes it back to Wager. Wager kicks it back to Shea. Shea boots it upfield to Gonzalez. Pass back to Freeze. Freeze dribbling around. Sends it over to the far side to Leshley. Leshley turning around, passing it back across to Freeze. Freeze dribbling with some space, sending a through pass for Gonzalez. A bit too far, but she draws a foul. A slick move to draw the foul by Sarah Gonzalez. She veered to her left at the last second before getting to the ball, which meant she collided with the defender, and since Gonzalez was a step ahead of her, that's going to be a foul call on the defense every time. Levy lining up for the free kick now for the Warriors. Lifts it to the box, deflects out. Gonzalez tries to kick it in, deflected away. Now Hammond launches one, and it's caught out of the air by the keeper. Just over 8 minutes left in this contest. Punted, and it's going to bounce out of bounds on the far side. Another sub checking in for Brookline, this one replacing Sydney Freeze. It is number 12, Julia Vianello. Leshley dribbling, pass ahead. Now towards the middle for Klaus, knocked away from her. Levy now winds up, fires a long leading pass. I don't know if Gonzalez can get there before it's out of bounds, and she can't. That'll be a goal kick for the Wildcats. Pass goes in, lifted in the air, deflects, and taken by Levy. Levy sends it to the outside for Shu. Shu dribbling up the far side. Now pass for Eisenhower. Eisenhower swings it over to Levy. Levy fakes and passes it over for Vianello. Vianello gets around a defender. Tries to send a crosser, walled off. Taken back by the Wildcats. And it's lost out of bounds. Vianello throws it in. Passed back to Vianello and lost out of bounds. Milton ball. Throw in, off ahead. Kicked away by Levy. Kicked back by the Wildcats. They actually managed to get it upfield. McGillivray sends a leader ahead, and it's booted away by Leshley. Milton was starting to string some passes together there. They might have been hoping for a second goal. Throw in. McGillivray takes it and draws a foul. Looks like Ruth is lining up to take the free kick for the Wildcats. And it's booted, goes off the head of Levy. Still dangerously inside the box, and it's booted out of there, I believe, by Wager. Race to the ball is won by Milton, passed back to the keeper, back upfield, taken by Eisenhower. Pass for Klaus, back to Eisenhower. Eisenhower trying to send it through, but Hammond wasn't quite ready to race off for that one. Kicked away by Milton, upfield, out of bounds. They're going to say last touched by Brookline. We are now in stoppage time here in the second half. Clock frozen at 5 minutes. All we can do at this point in terms of telling time is wait for the 3 whistles of the official. Throw in. Kicked up field, deflected high in the air. And Milton moving it upfield again. Down the far side. Walled off, got to pass it back. Now lifted up in the air. Bouncing off ahead. And a foul is called against Milton. Brookline setting up for a free kick. Wager boots it. Goes off ahead. Off a foot, and that's going to bounce out of bounds. That'll be Milton ball. Throw in. Off a head, off another head. Booted away by Brookline. Scrum for the ball, and a foul called against Brookline. Couple passes now taken away by Kesselman. Knocked away by the Wildcats. Now knocked back and taken again by Kesselman. Pass for Klaus, knocked away from her. Now knocked away by Levy, and it goes back to Wager, who lifts it down to the near side to Gonzalez. Gonzalez pass goes up to Eisenhower. Eisenhower pass up the middle to Klaus. Back to Levy. Levy back to Wager. To the outside to Leshley. Now back to Wager. Now kicked up the field, off ahead. Deflected, taken now by Levy. Levy dribbling, trying to send a through pass. Coming in is Shu. Nora Shu gets a pass through, and that shot is in! Brookline adds one more on the board. That one scored by Mirabelle Kesselman. Her second goal of the season. This one assisted by Nora Shu. Oops. One last goal in stoppage time, and now ball being kicked back and forth. That's out of bounds. It's going to be Brookline ball. Mirabelle Kesselman assisted by Nora Shu on that goal. Give both players a lot of credit. Shu did a fantastic job receiving a great through pass from Alex Levy. Showed some great hustle there. Sent a nice crosser in. Wasn't the cleanest as she didn't have the best angle, but good hustle and physicality by Mirabelle Kesselman. She took advantage of the situation she had in the box and scored at point-blank range. Brookline's gotten a number of goals that way just by sending the ball into the box and just being opportunistic, taking advantage of the opportunities they get in there. And that was another one. 6-1, the Brookline lead. Ooh, that hard collision as it's cleared out of the box by Freeze. Gonzalez lifting a long kick. Booted away by the keeper. Off the head of Wager. Taken back by Milton. Pass up the field. Leshley takes it back. Now boots it up the far side. Race for the ball. And it's going to be, that's going to be the triple whistle. Your final score here at Milton High School in Milton, Massachusetts. The Brookline High Warriors 6. The Milton High Wildcats 1. A tremendous offensive output from the Warriors. 3 goals in each half, led by a hat trick from Amra Ukamadu. Anna Leshley had 2 goals and an assist. And Mirabelle Kesselman with the last goal of the day for the Warriors. We saw 2 assists from Maddie Moore. 1 or 2 assists from Alex Levy. Again, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go back and check. And then 1 assist by Nora Shue. Fantastic effort by Brookline. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Happy to have brought you live coverage of today's Varsity High School Girls Soccer Contest. Remember, if you enjoyed the live stream, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. I've got Brookline Boys Freshman Soccer tomorrow, and then on Thursday, I'm covering this Varsity Girls Soccer team once again. Their last home game of the season against local rival Newton North for their senior day game. And then we got plenty more coming on the weekend. Be sure to stay tuned for those. Subscribe to the channel can help. If there's anything you'd like to say, but the stream is already over, I encourage you to say it in the comment section down below. Also, go down below and check out the description section for information about our local charity Spotlight Language Virtual. Find out how you can register as either a volunteer English language teacher or volunteer for free English language lessons as a student, or how you can donate to help out the cause. Check out the bottom right corner of your screen. You'll see the URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sportscasting services that I provide, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team or player. Directly below that, my email address, jgms88@gmail.com, if you just want to contact me directly with any questions or requests you might have. Below that, the URL to my Instagram account, instagram.com/jgms88. Follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams, and I'll have plenty to post from this high-scoring output. And that is going to do it from Milton High School in Milton, Massachusetts. The final score, Brookline 6, Milton 1. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.